The sun bathed the forest in a golden hue, softening the morning chill. Birds sang harmoniously amidst swaying branches. Buddha sat serenely beneath a large banyan tree. Around him, disciples sat, awaiting words of wisdom with bowed heads. I knelt nearby, feeling a mix of awe and anticipation. A young monk, Anand, raised a trembling hand. "Master, why do we suffer even as we walk the path of wisdom?" he asked softly. Buddha gazed at Anand with eyes brimming with compassion. He remained silent for a moment, as if weighing every word. "Anand," Buddha began, his voice calm and grounding. "Imagine a wanderer struck by an arrow in the forest." His gaze swept over the disciples. Would the wanderer ask who crafted the arrow before tending the wound? Murmurs of understanding rippled through the crowd. Buddha continued, "The wanderer seeks relief, not distractions, from the pain. So must you seek the root of suffering first." His words felt like drops of rain on parched soil, bringing clarity and stillness. Anand nodded slowly, his brow furrowed in thought. Suffering arises from desire, from clinging to what is impermanent, Buddha explained, his voice unwavering. Desire binds us to cycles of discontentment. He gestured to a nearby stream trickling gently over stones. "Be like the water that flows freely without attachment." A faint breeze rustled the leaves, amplifying the profound silence between his words. "Impermanence is not our enemy," Buddha added, "but our teacher. It shows us that nothing is truly ours to keep." The disciples leaned forward, their faces reflecting the weight of his insights. I raised my hand hesitantly, seeking to address an unspoken concern. "Master, how do we free ourselves from this clinging and find peace?" Buddha turned to me, his expression filled with infinite patience. "To release clinging is to see things as they truly are," he replied. "Imagine a child crying for the moon," he said, gazing upward where the moon lingered faintly. "The child suffers because they misunderstand. The moon cannot be held, yet its light touches all without discrimination." His analogy illuminated a profound truth within my mind. He continued, "Meditation sharpens the mind, like a craftsman sharpening a tool. With clarity, you cut through ignorance and illusion." I felt a deep resonance with his words. As if an ancient knowing had stirred within me, I resolved to carry his teachings forward earnestly. Impermanence is woven into the fabric of existence, Buddha declared. Birth, growth, decay, and death are natural rhythms we must embrace. He clasped his hands together gently. By resisting these rhythms, we create suffering. By accepting them, we find freedom. A ripple of agreement passed among the assembly. Voices soft and thoughtful. "Master, is there a way to practice this acceptance in our daily lives?" asked Sariputta, a senior monk. Buddha nodded, his expression serene yet encouraging. "Begin with mindfulness," he answered. "Mindfulness illuminates the present moment, which is the only reality," he said. "Observe your thoughts and actions without judgment or grasping." Buddha's voice carried an undeniable gravity that seemed to reach every soul gathered there. His words inspired both humility and courage. "Do not dwell on the past or worry about the future," he advised. "Anchor yourself in the now, where life unfolds." His guidance felt like an invitation to step beyond the limitations of my conditioned mind. I sensed a door opening to boundless possibilities. "As you walk this path, patience is your ally," Buddha reminded us. "Transformation takes time, like a seed growing into a tree." His analogy grounded me, reminding me of the natural pace of growth and change. The disciples nodded, comforted by his wisdom. The merchant lowered his head, silently reflecting on Buddha's words. He felt the weight of his anguish start to recede. Its roots hold the earth, and its shade provides comfort to many. He placed a hand on the trunk, his touch gentle yet reverent. "In the same way, ground yourself in truth. The air seemed to hold its breath as he continued. Let your actions, words, and thoughts align with compassion and wisdom, he said. This is the noble path. His teachings felt like a map through the dense forest of life. The clarity they offered was transformative. As the sun climbed higher, its rays filtering through the leaves, Buddha concluded his teaching. The way forward lies in your hands, he said. Take one step at a time, mindfully and purposefully. The disciples bowed in unison, their hearts touched by the simplicity and depth of his words. Buddha stood slowly, his movements deliberate and graceful. Now, let us meditate, he said. For understanding arises from experience, not mere words. We closed our eyes, sinking into the stillness that enveloped us like a gentle embrace. His teachings echoed within my heart. I felt a profound sense of gratitude for being in his presence. In those moments of silence, I glimpsed the vastness of the path. It was as if each breath carried me closer to the truth he spoke of so eloquently. The journey had truly begun. Another day, as sunlight poured gently over the serene banks of the Ganges, Buddha sat surrounded by disciples and villagers. Among them stood a fisherman, his face lined with weariness and shame, clutching a frayed net tightly. The fisherman bowed deeply, his voice trembling as he spoke. Master, my life is heavy with guilt. I take life daily to sustain my own. Buddha's gaze softened as he observed the man with boundless compassion. The assembly fell silent, awaiting the Blessed One's response. Friend, Buddha began, his voice steady like the flowing river. Imagine casting a net, not for fish, but for compassion. The fisherman's hands trembled, holding his net as Buddha pointed toward the river's endless currents. This river nourishes life without harm. So too must you act. Buddha raised a handful of water, letting it flow through his fingers. Does this water ask whom to sustain or judge worthiness? The villagers exchanged glances, pondering the simplicity yet depth of his words. The fisherman lowered his head, tears brimming in his eyes. This web of life is vast and interconnected, Buddha continued, gesturing toward the surrounding landscape. Harm to one life resonates across all existence. His words carried the weight of undeniable truth. The fisherman closed his eyes, absorbing the teaching deeply into his heart. Buddha placed his hand upon the fisherman's shoulder gently. To redeem yourself, begin by ceasing harm. Redemption lies in present actions, not the guilt of past deeds. A cool breeze whispered along the riverbanks, carrying his words through the assembly. You must transform the net that ensnares into one that liberates, Buddha said. Use it to carry kindness into the world. The fisherman held his net close, as though it were the very burden he had come to release. Buddha smiled knowingly. When you act with compassion, you honor the lives that surround you, Buddha added, his voice filled with wisdom. Through love, suffering dissolves. The first step is acknowledgement, the Buddha said. Only in acknowledging your pain can you begin the journey toward release. Begin with small acts, he answered. Each step toward compassion builds the bridge to liberation. Buddha gestured toward the flowing river once more. This river did not carve its path in an instant. Time and persistence shape its gentle course. The man's grief seemed to lighten as he nodded slowly, clutching his net with a new sense of purpose. Buddha continued, addressing the gathered villagers. Let each of you reflect on your own nets of life. Do they bind, or do they free? His words resonated among those present, prompting contemplation. The villagers exchanged thoughtful glances, some visibly moved by his teachings. The fisherman's journey toward compassion mirrors your own. Buddha said, each action ripples outward, shaping the life around you. The assembly listened intently, their hearts touched by the Blessed One's wisdom, as though the river itself carried his voice. Buddha's gaze returned to the fisherman, now kneeling before him in deep reverence. Find redemption not through regret, but transformation, he advised. Turn guilt into a force of change, a guide to right action. The fisherman bowed his head low, tears streaming down his face. Compassion is the net that liberates, Buddha said, his voice steady and deliberate. It catches no harm but weaves unity and peace. The fisherman trembled, as though an ancient truth had awakened within his soul, and his hands finally released the frayed net. Remember, each life holds the potential for growth and redemption, Buddha continued. Even the smallest seed grows into mighty trees. His analogy carried profound meaning for the crowd, who marveled at the depth of his words. The fisherman's lips quivered, unable to speak. Buddha's voice grew tender as he added, "Love unconditionally, as this river loves the land it nourishes." His words carried an air of undeniable truth. A hushed stillness swept over the assembly, leaving them in collective reflection. Buddha clasped his hands together in a gesture of blessing. "Friend, may your heart be a vessel for compassion and wisdom," he said warmly. The fisherman bowed deeply, offering silent gratitude for the wisdom he had received that day. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, its golden hues reflecting upon the water, Buddha rose gracefully. "Let us now meditate," he said, his voice calm and grounding. "Through practice, we embody the truths we have spoken today." The assembly closed their eyes, sinking into the stillness of the moment. The flowing river seemed to harmonize with their breath. Buddha's teachings echoed within my heart, and I glimpsed the possibility of transformation through the ripples of compassion. I resolved to carry his words forward, knowing that even small actions could resonate profoundly. His teachings illuminated my own path. As the sun vanished behind the horizon, the Blessed One's presence lingered, like the gentle light of stars guiding the way. Another day, as twilight descended over a quiet mountain village, Buddha arrived to teach under the open expanse of the sky. The villagers gathered, their faces marked by hardship but illuminated with hope. Among them was Mata, an elderly woman with trembling hands. Mata bowed low, her voice quivering with years of grief. "Blessed One, I have lost my entire family to sickness. How does one bear such unbearable sorrow?" Buddha regarded her with profound compassion, his presence like the stillness before dawn. The assembly grew quiet, their breaths synchronized with the moment. "Mata," Buddha began gently, "each life is like a lamp, its flame vulnerable to the winds of time." He gazed upward, where faint stars began to emerge in the deepening indigo sky. "Do you mourn the stars that fade, or cherish their light which endures?" Mata's eyes filled with tears as Buddha's words touched the depths of her pain. "The loss feels endless, Master," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Buddha nodded, his understanding unwavering. "Grief is natural, but its weight comes from clinging to what has passed," he said softly. He gestured toward the horizon, where the first rays of the moonlight touched the earth. "Consider the moon. Its phases change, yet it always returns, reminding us of cycles beyond our grasp. Place it here," he said, "and see that what you clutch so tightly holds only the remnants, not the essence." Hesitantly, she set the urn down, her hands trembling as they left the comfort of its weight, seeking an answer instead. "It transforms," he placed a hand over his heart. "Their kindness, their joys, they live within you. To share them is to honor their light." The disciples sat motionless, absorbing the weight of his words like dry earth drinking rain. Mata asked hesitantly, "But Master, how do I let go of this pain while still holding them in my heart?" Buddha smiled, serene and patient. "Letting go is not forgetting," he replied, "it is releasing the grasp, allowing the memory to flow freely. Unbound by sorrow," he continued. "When a river flows, it does not cling to its banks but carries with it all that nourishes life." The villagers nodded, their expressions softened by understanding. Buddha gestured toward a lotus blooming in a nearby pond. "See this lotus," he said. "It rises from mud, yet its petals remain untainted. So, too, must your heart bloom amidst suffering." Mata gazed at the lotus. Her tears now mingled with the first glimmers of hope. "Suffering and joy are inseparable," Buddha explained. "As night gives way to day, pain leads to wisdom, if you embrace it fully." His words resounded in the stillness, each one planting seeds of contemplation within the hearts of all who listened. Mata clasped her hands tightly, her voice firmer now. "Master, how can I use this wisdom to guide my remaining days?" Buddha looked at her, his expression both tender and resolute. "By serving others, you turn your grief into compassion," he said. "The love you carry becomes a wellspring," he added. "Draw from it to soothe the thirst of others in need." Mata nodded slowly, her resolve strengthening like the steady flame of an oil lamp. The villagers murmured softly, inspired by her transformation. Buddha turned to the assembly, his gaze encompassing all. "Each of you bears burdens," he said. "Yet within every burden lies an opportunity to awaken." He spread his hands as if encompassing the whole of existence. "Awakening comes not from avoiding suffering, but from understanding it deeply." He continued, "Imagine life as a vast ocean. Its waves rise and fall, but its depth remains constant. So must your heart be." The villagers listened, spellbound, their faces reflecting the profound truths taking root within them. Mata bowed deeply, her grief now tempered with purpose. "As you let go of clinging, you make space for boundless love and wisdom," Buddha said. "This is the way of peace." His words carried the weight of ancient wisdom, echoing in the stillness of the mountain air. Mata wiped her tears, her expression one of quiet determination. The moon rose higher, its silver light bathing the assembly in tranquility. "Now, let us meditate," Buddha said, his voice serene. "For in stillness, we touch the truths that words can only point toward." The villagers closed their eyes, their breath merging with the rhythm of nature. In the silence, I felt the depth of Buddha's teachings resonate within me. They were not just words but a living path. Mata's journey mirrored our own, a reminder that suffering, when embraced with wisdom, becomes a bridge to liberation. As the hours passed and the assembly dispersed, the light of the moon lingered over the village. It felt as though the Buddha's presence had illuminated more than just the night. It had kindled an enduring flame within each heart, a guide through the darkness of life. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.